Hello, everyone. My name is Anthony Camacho, and I will be presenting my second workshop for Trio Fit. I'm super excited to be doing this. It's going to be talking about fitness in depth. So once again, thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here presently with me. I hope y'all having a happy Tuesday. And without further ado, let's get into it. So today we'll be talking about fitness, and we're going to get into the nitty gritty of things, and it's going to be a whole breakdown of it. And I promise you that you will leave this presentation feeling like you have a good idea, a good grasp of what fitness really is. So first, we're going to talk about fitness and your perspective, and I'll go more into detail about that as we get into it. Then we're going to talk about the health improvements and, what does fitness do for us generally? And we'll go more in depth about that as well as we get into it. And then we're going to understand why. Why do we need to know all these things, and what is the whole point of this whole presentation? And so I'm going to make that more clear as we continue. And then we're gonna run down, and then we're gonna bring it all together. What is our mission gonna be like together? As a whole. So a little bit of a rundown and just kind of bringing it all together, and therefore making it more clear towards the end. So if you look at this picture, do you consider this to be fitness? Well, my question would be, you know, not question, but my statement would be ideally, yes. But to you, does this really necessarily mean fitness? We'll go into more detail about that. So let's talk about our perspective, our first point. What does this mean? Well, having a perspective of anything, of course, it's gonna involve a various amount of things, right? And in terms of fitness, obviously, as we talked in our last workshop, that fitness comes in different shapes, sizes, forms, everything. So, one person may think of fitness as being going to the gym and lifting weights and so forth. Others may consider it to be cardiovascular exercises, and so this can also come in various different methods. There's a lot of sports like soccer, football, basketball. These all have to pertain with running quite a bit, right? And so just our perspective is something that's very key in understanding fitness. And, we have to truly balance it of what we think it is. It's not what others think, but it's what we think, right? And so real quickly, I kind of want to go through this branch that I kind of made for y'all today. Really take this in, okay? And so this is kind of like our understanding, where do we stand at this fitness journey that we are going on together with. And I really want to emphasize that each and every one of these things has a different meaning. So I'm going to talk about them and kind of get that little bit of a grasp of what they all really mean. So we'll start at the bottom. So brand new, you're brand new to the journey. You just started, you're barely getting into it. And so you're ready to start this new journey, right? And so anybody who's brand new to the journey, they're in this phase of learning new things, and sometimes they may accept this new stuff, or they may use it and bounce off of it and go on to another different direction for their own journey, right? And so I think as we go through this tree of different levels, I think it's important to understand where you stand in this category, but then also being okay with that, because it'll make more sense as we get to the top. And yeah, so just bear with me for the time being. We're gonna keep moving forward in this little tree that I got going on here. So next up, we would have beginner phase. And so this is the kind of stage where we are open to new ideas. We start to understand, have more of a grasp of what fitness really is, and we kind of have a rough draft, if you will, of our journey of where we want to go about it and how we're going to do it and stuff. This is a really important phase because a lot of us tend to be in this kind of position for quite a while. And sometimes it does take a while for us to really map out what we want to do with it. And definitely incorporates, trying new things and stuff like that. So important phase to really kind of examine and to really understand. And so moving forward, we have the intermediate phase. You at this point, you are still learning, new things, but you also have a really, really good understanding of what you want to do. And so in this phase, you can expect that you are understanding what fitness is to you, your understanding of fitness, and then you're also applying it to the wider world, and you're having an impact on the community by offering your knowledge and being feeling confident that you can talk to others about fitness and not feel that that someone may or may not have a different perspective. And so you're going to be able to feel confident in yourself that you are able to map out a fitness journey of your own and then apply it to the wider world. And then next up, we have expertise. And so I really want to highlight expertise because expertise does not mean you are perfect. In fact, it's far from perfect. Being an expertise in fitness, there's no such thing, if I'm being honest. I put it on here because yes, there are individuals who are very knowledgeable in fitness and they do know a lot, but it does not mean that anyone is perfect because you know why? Because fitness is an overall learning experience for the self. It is not for anyone to guide but yourself at the end of the day. And so, kind of getting a gigantic overview of this whole entire tree, I made this because I really want every individual who is watching right now to understand that fitness is not something that we try to label too much. In fact, we try to continue to give to the community no matter what, no matter where we are. We want to continue to be the force that drives fitness for anyone's liking and to continue to have it be that thing that is not considered to be a chore, but is considered to be a love, to be a passion. And so I really want to say that wherever you stand, whether you be 4, 3, 2, 1, at the end of the day, the only number one thing that matters the most is you are going to continue to learn and you're going to always be expanded on your knowledge on anything that you do. And I'm talking from experience because I still learn to this day about different things. And so it's super important for me to highlight that. So moving forward, I just, what a better way to, a picture always reinforces the goal. And so I got two wonderful picture examples here, two different kinds of fitnesses, right? So we have actual working out, like workout routine fitness right there. And then we have sports. And so it's kind of just going back to the example of, in your perspective, yourself. So in these two individuals, um, that picture, that frame of, you doing your fitness journey, really can motivate you and can really push you to continue to keep fighting for what you want. What do you want out of this? And so um, these are just examples, of course, these are cartoon examples. And so taking it to the real world, I really think that for anyone who is doing however kind of fitness they are doing, always take pictures of yourself and never be afraid to. Because when you look back and you reflect and you see the difference in yourself, it is the number one most motivating thing in the world. You feel so passionate, you feel strong, and you feel like you are able to get closer and closer to the goal that you want, whether you have passed it already or not, or you made a new goal. And so this is just something to really consider as well in terms of fitness and this wider picture of your journey. So let's reflect back, and I'm going to take it back to my first presentation. If you haven't already, it is posted up on our Instagram page and it will also be on our Canvas page. So let's reflect back to these percentages that I had up my last presentation. Just a reminder, so 25% in terms of fitness is going to go into heart and effort. And real quickly, and hard effort can be a lot of things, but to sum it down, it really is to what your liking is, right? And so however that may come, no matter what kind of standard or level it is on, 25% of that is going to go into the work and effort that you put in at the end of the day. And so I really want to encourage that for anyone who's listening, to really reflect on this and feel like, what is my heart and effort towards this journey that I'm going on, right? And then the next 25%, it's going to be on support and research. So reflecting back, we talked about that in terms of fitness. we have to put ourselves in a researching kind of mode, because we want to understand where we want to go about it, right? Do we want to continue to keep playing sports and use that as our fitness journey, or do we want to do different kinds of various workout routines, or do we want to kind of incorporate cardiovascular, running, biking, etc. So there's so many different ways that this can come in, and so I feel like being able to reflect on this also can really help you at the end understand how you want to go about it. And then the last 50%, this is going to go into understanding and loving yourself. And I really emphasize loving yourself. I always do, and I always will to the end. I've I have, as I mentioned before, I have a lot of experience with loving myself and being able to use this love for myself and expand it out to what my fitness journey has become for me. Um, and so this is something that it's a big amount of it's a chunk of like the percentages, right? Um, this is something that it doesn't come automatically. This is something that we have to inherently figure out, however that may come. This can come in like doing stuff for yourself, spoiling, eating some foods that you love, being with your family, however that may be, or just being alone, being present with yourself, meditation, yoga, all these good stuff, taking care of yourself before you can actually apply yourself into different situations such as fitness. Super important. But definitely something to consider moving forward. But yes, that is something to understand. I wanted to reflect back on it because it is important in terms of fitness, and when we talk in fitness in depth, well, we need to know what actually goes into it. So we're going to talk about the second point that I brought up in the table of contents. This is going to be about health improvements. And so first, we're going to have immune system. So the immune system is something that in the modern society today has been kind of in a iffy situation, right? And so we're considering the pandemic and the COVID-19 and a lot of things that have been going on. Um, but you're going to notice that when you are in a kind of fitness state, you're going to see that you're going to be more healthier, definitely a lot more stronger in terms of the inner body, and fighting off viruses and common colds and flus. You're going to get sick less. You're going to feel a lot more better, and you're going to feel um, that nothing can stop you. That you're just mighty and you're ready to go, right? So number two is going to be help with avoiding health issues. And so this can be in terms of a lot of things. The number one thing that comes up in mind is diabetes. And there also is other things as well. So for me, for instance, I have asthma. And so when I am in terms of like gaining weight and stuff, I tend to have a harder time breathing. And so I noticed that when I'm more active and I have a little mojo going, I feel more better. I can breathe a lot better. Um, that's just kind of like a personal example. And there's a lot of other health things that can happen um, positively in terms of health. And so these are definitely things to consider as well, to kind of motivate that fitness journey and to get it going, right? And so our third thing we're going to talk about is natural energy. So um, I know there is coffee in the world. I know there's energy drinks. I know there's a lot of things, and I cannot sit here and tell you that I haven't had experience with it because I have. Um, but at the end of the day, if you go to the gym, or you go and play your sport, or you do your yoga, or you do your cardiovascular exercises, or you do anything that involves fitness that pack that sweat into you, you are going to have natural energy for the day. And so I can talk from experience as well. Every morning I go to the gym and I get myself ready for the day. And I can tell you this right now, it gets me through my whole entire day. Okay. So this is something to also consider as well. I know that nowadays caffeine intake is quite a issue. I've heard a lot of things about it. And so it's something that's constantly coming up in modern society. And so definitely something to consider as well as we get into this fitness journey is you're going to want to consider these additional benefits of starting this journey with me. And so our fourth point, we're going to be understanding oneself. And so what I want to elaborate more on this. Sometimes we are in states that we truly do not understand who we are currently. We're going through so much. We have so much going on, school, work, personal problems, etc., we kind of lose track of who we are as a person. And so um, the only way you can truly understand yourself is if you put effort into to yourself, right? And so um, there is a time and place for everything. And I feel like, fitness has a lot of implications of being beneficial to oneself and truly being able to understand what you like, what you don't like, how you want to go about things, what kind of diet do you want, um, how do you want to go about your days, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And so very important, definitely something that is so beautiful in terms of fitness and what it does for you. And, you know, it's awesome. So let's understand why. So why is it important for us to understand fitness as a whole? Well, there's a lot of things. And I kind of want to start real quick as we get, we're going to go more in depth, but I want to talk about just, fitness in general and, going reflecting back to my last workshop about how fitness is something that can be quite complicated, but it can also be really simple. And so we don't want to put too much stress on ourselves. We want to be able to kind of get into this together and feel confident enough to be like, you know what, I got this. And so when you're able to have a lot of reflections and a lot of different, material going on into your in, and into your understanding, then you're gonna feel that everything's gonna go a lot more smoother and it's not gonna feel like a chore, it's gonna feel like a achievement, right? And so let me have a little bit of a breakdown right here. So, the journey. So, you're going to get into a new chapter in your life, and it's going to be something that's going to be full of different things, ups, downs, sideways. Um, but it's super important to understand that this is a journey that is going to be worth it, right? And we're also going to get connections. And so I'm moving forward back into um, or moving backwards into the last workshop. We talked about, um, expanding into the community and talking to various people and, getting um, new perspectives, right? And so it's definitely something really important to consider in terms of fitness and stuff like that. And then also too the benefits, the benefits of health, benefits of personal, loving yourself, understanding yourself, all these beautiful benefits of what it takes or what comes with being on a fitness journey, right? And so, going more in depth about these little things. So the journey, it becomes more clear understanding fitness. It offers a more clear path. You don't feel like I said, there's no little forks in the road. When you're able to understand fitness in depth, you feel more confident moving forward, and you feel like you're able to power through anything that comes in your way. And so, and it also, understanding the journey more will give you more confidence. You're prepared to start this new chapter in your life. You're ready to take it on head on, and you can lift the world. And then we got the connections, more in depth. We got our community, like I said, expanded knowledge, open, you're opened up to new possibilities of anything that can happen for you. And then, mental health is just the most important thing. Is, mental health is going to go a long way in this journey, and you're going to find that um, you're going to feel a lot more refreshed nowadays, and you're going to feel like you can take on the world, like I said, and it it really does play a big impact. So these four aspects of connection super important to really take in. And then we got the benefits. And so I'm going to go one by one by these because this is the most important part, right? And so we got our health improvements. We talked about it, different categories of different kinds of healths and, my little personal relation with health benefits, improvements and benefits. And then we have a new lifestyle. Like I said, there's a new lifestyle, a new chapter in your life. You are able to do different things without even like actually realizing you're doing them sometimes. And then when you do, you're like, oh my gosh, I did that, right? And then learning to love yourself. So I mentioned this quite a bit through this workshop and last workshop. You learn to love who you are as a person. You learn to continue to keep striving for everything that you want. And it, it kind of expands out to the wider world, right? And so moving on to the next point, trying new things. I like this little image right here because it's scuba diving, and so a lot of us don't really see this as being a fitness kind of thing, but it really is. It really is. And so what a good way to kind of expand off this and like to kind of realize like I had a professor who he went swimming every morning, and I never really like thought of it as any kind of fitness, but swimming is a really hard thing to do. And so um, that was very impressive that my professor would tell me every morning he would go out and he'd get in the water and so, enjoy himself. But at the same time, every morning he did that, it was so beneficial for him as a person. And so, this is a really good example um, to show in terms of fitness that it doesn't need to come through the gym. It doesn't need to come through sports, but it can also come through other things too, such as swimming, biking, um, running, all those beautiful things. I really love this quote. I really hope that y'all will love it too. Fitness is the ability to function efficiently in an active environment that suits your personal interests and goals. You should have your own unique definition and create a baseline that you can build on throughout your life. You should have your own unique definition. Own unique definition. Beautiful. I love it. I love it so much. I found this on a blog, and I needed to share it with you all because this is the whole point. This is my number one thing that I'm stressing to you is fitness overall is what you make it. You, the person that is watching you, um, it is beautiful. I love it. I made my own fitness journey, and I hope that you all will make a fitness journey and we can continue to keep doing it together, right? So really take this quote in. I love it so much, and I'm so happy that I found it. So let's get a little rundown. This is awesome. I love that I did this. So we're gonna start with our first point. Fitness is what you make it. And I just said that in the last quote, and I'm saying it again now. It is what you make it. At the end of the day, the little arrow thing right there is pointing to the person, and because that is the person, what are you gonna do with fitness, right? Second point we're going to move on to is it all starts here. And what does our brain, the little arrows pointing to the brain, what does our brain make of it? How are we going to take in fitness, and how are we going to expand it out to our cells, and so on and so forth. And then lastly, that arrow is pointing to the heart. It is love it. You gotta love it. This journey is no chore. It is all what we love to do. We should never do something that is out of our comfort zone. We should never do something that is making us feel forced, making it feel like a chore. Um, Anything that is going to bother you in this fitness journey should not happen because it should all be on terms of yourself, right? Um, and so definitely this is just a really good breakdown, really of what we kind of talked about today, but also kind of expanding more on this idea of you know this fitness journey of love and passion and everything that new experiences, community connections, all that beautiful stuff, and then kind of applying it to ourselves, right? So moving forward, I just kind of want to give like another breakdown of my workshops moving forward. I got some ideas and I wanted to talk to you guys about them. So for my next workshop, I want to do a workout guide, and this is going to involve home/gym edition workouts. Um, if you have any ideas or any questions about this, please reach out to me. I'm very open to, you know, changing anything that needs to be changed, or actually helping a lot more, getting a more understanding of how I should go about these workshops and so on and so forth. Um, I'm really excited for this. I have a pretty good idea, um, and I got this idea from a student, so I appreciate that student so much. But then it gets into my next point. TBD for both my next events, the last two. Um, I'm still deciding what I want to do, but I would like you, the student, for the trio student, to please help me with this. I enjoy trying to, give back what I possibly can, right? And so if I can give back, something, I want it to be something that you are interested in, right? And so please let me know if there's anything I can do to if there's something that you would like to learn about, if there's nutrition, diets, I can do that as well. Anything, and I'll be more than happy to help with that. So that concludes my presentation for the day. I really appreciate y'all tuning in. Like I said, I'm very happy. I'm so passionate about this. Um, there's not a doubt in my mind that I wouldn't want to do this for y'all. And so thank you so much. Of any, like I said, any questions or concerns or comments or requests, please email me at the email down below. And yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Y'all have a wonderful day. Keep thriving, keep working, and let's get this and let's keep going. Y'all have a good one.